Hey y'all, I'm eating a Mayfield ice cream brown cow, and I want to talk to you about zines. The zines I have to review for you today are by the artists Lucy Kaplan and Amber Dance, so let's get into it. Lucy is my pal who lives in Mississippi, and she has probably the jazziest eyebrows I've ever seen. She loves rock and roll. She is a student and she has been to Helsinki, which is pretty awesome. And she contacted me and said that she wanted to trade for my Carly Rae Jepsen zine, which is pink. And I said, that's awesome, like, please send me some zines. I would love to trade. And so we follow each other on Instagram now, and I'll link her boober down in the thingy thing. And then she also has an issue site because her zines are actually made digitally, but they still have this very handmade feel. This one is called, if you can tell, Nail Care, and it is actually an illustrated zine and has all kinds of different tips for nail care. I really enjoyed looking through this because it reminded me so much of when I got my YM magazine in the mail, and that first afternoon after school I would open it up and look through everything and do all of the quizzes and, you know, get beauty tips. Now you just go to Pinterest and you're like, the weird thing that I want to be able to do. But back in the day you just had, you know, the same thing everybody else had, which was magazines. I really enjoyed reading through this. I love all of the little illustrations. I have both of these products and that's exactly what they look like. So yeah, I was really glad that Lucy reached out to me and sent me this zine. I showed it to my kids and they liked it, but this is the one that they were super excited about because I read the name out loud to them and they were like, yeah, I need that one over here, and they all fought over it. So this is Over Him! Stuff Boys Did That Ended Crushes by Lucy Kaplan. And this, I think, was also made digitally, but as you can see, it still has a very hand-drawn, handmade feel. It's in color, which is nice. I haven't done one in color yet. And it says, this is one of the things one of the men did that made her over him. When we talked about social issues, he could only directly quote points our friends made on Facebook. It made me question his critical thinking skills. Ooh, his super sweet parents casually mentioned his girlfriend. Yeah. So, this is like your typical one-pager, slit down the middle and then folded into a book. It's printed in color and it's really cute. It looks like hand illustrations, even though Lucy told me she does everything digitally. I've never played around with that. I did see a really helpful video a couple weeks ago when I was looking for zine videos. I found one by a user named Annetoinette, and they have only put up one video on their channel, which made me really sad because it was exactly the kind of video that I was looking for when I first got on YouTube, and I was like, why does this person not have more? I'll put that down at in the thinger thing. And it was just a cool video because it talked about how to make zines cheaply online digitally, which I had never really thought about because I didn't think it would be that cool, but having them explain it, I was like, actually, that sounds kind of awesome. Stay tuned for another zine review right after this message. Hello, this is a Warglitter public service announcement, and the announcement is I got a P.O. box, and it's a thing that I have always wanted because I've always wanted to be able to just put my address on the internet and be like, send me mail, and not have to worry about somebody showing up at my house and stalking me, which is Why do we all think that's gonna happen? But I mean, it is why you don't put your address. It's because of 2020 with Barbara Walters, because she told all of us when we were 12 that you shouldn't ever give anybody your real name or your address on the internet, because then they will stalk you. But I'm just really excited because I've always wanted a P.O. box and now I have one. So I will put my address down in the boop duper and you can send me some mail. Let me know if you want to trade. You can send me a message. I have a website that I almost never use, but it has all of my current zines on there that I would be willing to trade for. And if you don't feel like trading, that's totally okay too. That doesn't mean that I won't look at your zine and decide if I want to review it. So definitely send me some stuff. Thanks. Welcome back. Our next zine is by the artist Amber Dance. Amber is Blue on Gramstagram if you want to check them out. And Amber also reached out to me about the Carly Rae Jepsen zine, and I said, yeah, let's trade. They live in Australia. So they asked me which of their zines they wanted, and I just said, you know, send me something that you've made recently that you're proud of. That's kind of my go-to answer when people ask me, you know, what do I want when we're gonna trade? And so they must have just known that I needed this in my life. I didn't even know that I needed this in my life. But what Amber sent me was this. Murder, She Zined. This is a review zine for the first season of Murder, She Wrote. Like, I can't even, okay. And so I haven't seen Murder, She Wrote at all since I was a really little kid, and I've probably only seen each episode once. These were shows that I used to watch with my grandmother when I would go stay with her on the weekends. We would sit in her back bedroom on her chaise lounge, and she had this teeny weeny little TV. And I can't remember if it was black and white or color. I feel like it was color, but it was really, really small. And she would keep her cigarettes in this long, like, change purse kind of snap thing with like a little pocket for her lighter, and we would sit back there and like balance the ashtray on the chaise lounge. This sounds like really bad because it's 2018 and you're not supposed to do that anymore, but it was the 80s, we didn't know. So this zine is just reviews of episodes from season 1 of Murder, She Wrote. And I gotta say, some of these episodes I actually remember from childhood. Not all of them, but it made me want to watch the show again. And so it's, you know, you get kind of just a very basic rundown. Amber is good about not spoiling anything, thank you Amber, in case you want to read through them. And Amber does a really good job of kind of comparing episodes to each other and pointing out like silly plot devices that happen over the course of all of the seasons that probably didn't need to happen. And so it's very humorous in the way that they deliver it, but at the same time you can really tell that they love Murder, She Wrote. This is pretty much the kind of zine that I love the most because it is about something really specific and nostalgic. This one, I mean, it hits those buttons for me. Sometimes I feel like making something and then I'm like, I shouldn't do that because nobody else cares about that. That's so specific or old or whatever. And after reading through this, I'm starting to feel like that's kind of a ridiculous way to feel because, I mean, why not? Like, why, if it's done well, you should want to read about anything and, you know, be open to being introduced to something that you don't necessarily know about. And then just think about all the people out there who also are into the thing you don't even know, and they would really appreciate hearing somebody else's take on it, or that anybody else is actually excited by that. So I'm gonna go into zines with a whole new attitude, thanks to Amber. Amber has a new zine that is actually being released today. It is called Ugly, and they tell me that it is different from the zines they usually do because it is more of a personal zine. But really, I think all of their zines look really personal. They focus a lot on mental health issues and trying to fight against the stigma against people who have mental health issues or need to be medicated or on medication. I think that's a really important work to be doing, but it also, you know, it comes from a really personal place for Amber. Ugly is actually about a lot of those things, and they are so proud of the work that they did for that zine. They're actually having a zine release party tonight at a local bar where they live, which I cannot wait to put something out that I feel is like important enough and good enough that I could have like a release party. I think that sounds amazing, and especially when you're handling something that's very personal and, you know, these darker issues that people have a hard time discussing but need to be discussing, I think it's important to party for that. That is fantastic. So I wish I could be there tonight with you, Amber, but I definitely want to see more of your zines. I'm going to get a copy of Ugly. Maybe I can send you something in the mail to trade for Ugly. Last week I made this zine. It's called My First Job. I made it with my zine club to show them how to make a one-pager zine, and so since it was the first zine we all made together, I made the prompt for it first. So my first job was at the movie theater, which is why I have popcorn and Coke. And this is just a very kind of quickly done illustrated story about when I worked at the concession stand in the movie theater in the mall, and I was able to make enough money to buy myself a beeper because it was $1.5 million years ago. This weekend I should say, I started working on a longer zine. It was going to be a one-pager, and then I figured out, I'll just say, that I really was gonna need more room to tell the story that I want and it not be like cramped. But this is the cover of it. Finished that. It says, "Mrs. B, it's so sunny. Can we have class inside today?" I'm gonna do a series of these. It'll be the first one, and it'll be about teaching Generation Z, because I actually get a lot of questions about this generation, which I think is interesting. Even millennials are starting to go like, what is it like teaching children these days? They're so weird. Because we're old. I have a website that I don't actually use very much, but it has the 3 zines that I have up for trade, and I will add this new one to it as well. I will put the link to the website on there so you can see if there's anything that you would want to trade for. Next week I'll have another review for you. I don't know if I'll do 1 or 2 next week. I kind of like doing 2. So yeah, maybe I'll do 2 different zinesters next week for you. And I have reached out to some people who have said yes, and I've got a couple things that are coming to my P.O. box soon that I'll look over to do reviews for you in the future. So until then, keep making, do it yourself.